Hey, what is up, YouTube? This is David, Thrash to Death 555, and I am back once again this week, and this time I am bringing you a new topic. If you watched my previous video, I've already spoiled it and said what I'm going to talk about. Today we're going to do a little video game discussion, and just bear with me, this is my first video on this topic, so I'm going to try to do my best to make it interesting, and hopefully you'll enjoy, but I don't fucking know. We'll see what happens, okay? So, yeah, we're going to do a little video game discussion today. Today I'm just going to be talking about how I kind of got started, what really got me more and more into gaming. I've never wanted to just talk about music on here, and I've said this a couple videos before. I've got a lot of hobbies that I really love, and, of course, music, metal music in particular is one of them, and also video games is one of them, anime is one of them, and as I've also mentioned many times, I'm a big horror fan. I love watching horror movies, so I would like to at some point try to work all that into video, all those topics into videos at some point on this channel as well. I just have a really hard time finding a way to talk about these topics, and just I type what kind of video I can do to make them interesting and fun for you guys to watch. But yeah, I'm gonna do my best. But video games, I've been into video games for many years now. It pretty much all started back when I was a kid, watching my mom and her sister playing Super Mario Brothers on the NES, and the music for the castle on the original Super Mario Brothers really used to scare the shit out of me as a kid. But yeah, it came from me watching them play Super Mario Brothers and stuff, and eventually my mom gave me her Super Nintendo as I got a little bit older, and the first video game that I ever beat was Aladdin on the Super Nintendo when I was like 8 years old, I believe. Something like that. But yeah, that was the first video game I ever beat, and that is a game that I still feel holds up really well today. Aladdin on the Super Nintendo, that's a really fun platformer to this day, and I still find it pretty challenging even when I play it today. But I think that's still a great game that holds up pretty well today. But yeah, so that was the first video game I ever beat, and as I got a little bit older, I kind of got into my next console was the N64, and then I got some stuff like Star Wars Pod Racer. I got Pokemon Snap, and I also remember getting this horror game called Nightmare Creatures, which I never could really get anywhere when I was a kid playing that. And then after getting my N64 and everything, I also took an interest in the PlayStation, and I got into Crash Bandicoot and stuff like that. But what really got me heavy into gaming was when I met my buddy Chris, who is now my stepbrother. So now we are family, and he kind of got me. I was paying attention to all the Nintendo stuff, like the Mario and Zelda and all that shit, but I didn't really get into it until I started hanging out with Chris. And when I first came over to his place, we played Super Smash Brothers, which I'd never played anything like that before. The original Super Smash Brothers on the N64. We played Mario Party, and and then he got me into Castlevania as well. When he first showed me Symphony of the Night, that game blew my fucking mind. I thought it was just the coolest thing I had ever seen. And so yeah, then he really got me into all the Nintendo stuff even more. So then I became more of a fan of Mario and Zelda, Mega Man, and he also kind of helped get me into Metal Gear Solid as well, which is another one of my favorite series. So let's get into that, I guess, my favorite series. And I've got a couple just individual games here just to show you the series. And I don't want to talk about the series or the genres too much because I kind of maybe want to make that into separate videos. I'll do a video on all my favorite series, my favorite video game franchises, and then I'll do one maybe on my favorite genres, such as I like platformers and RPGs and so on. But just to give you guys a little example, Disgaea, this is one of my all-time favorites. I fell in love with this when I first saw it. I was watching a friend play it when they came over to my buddy Chris's. They had it, or they were borrowing it from somebody else, and I just thought it was the coolest thing I had ever seen, because it's you were playing an anime, and it had that battle style of Final Fantasy Tactics, which that's another game that had a huge impact on me when I was younger, was Final Fantasy Tactics. I played that back in middle school, and I just never seen anything like that. And when I found out that there was more games in that style that was in like this anime-looking style, it just really intrigued me, and then I fell in love with Disgaea and all kinds of other Nippon Ichi related games. Nippon Ichi is probably my favorite developer. Yeah, so Disgaea, huge fan of this one. I've played this one, I played 2, I played 3. I have not finished 4 and 5 yet. I really need to get on that and finish those at some point, but yeah, Disgaea, fucking love this series. And the next one, as I previously mentioned, that my buddy, or my now stepbrother, Chris, got me into was Castlevania. This is Curse of Darkness. My introduction, like I said, was Symphony of the Night, and Symphony of the Night is still my favorite of the series and still one of my all-time favorite games. I beat Symphony of the Night about 2 or 3 times, I would say, at least. But yeah, Castlevania, and just being the horror fan that I am, this stuff really appeals to me because you're fighting all kinds of undead and vampires and all kinds of different, monsters and stuff, and it's got some of the most fun gameplay, some of the coolest story, coolest characters I've ever seen. Yeah. And fuck you, Konami, for completely shitting all over this franchise and doing nothing with it right now. But that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, Castlevania, love Castlevania. That's another one of my all-time favorites next to Disgaea. And this is Mega Man X8. Mega Man, like I said, another one of my favorites, but there's still so many more that I need to play. The only ones that I have beaten to this day are this one, and I beat Mega Man X1 and 2. I've never beat any others. I have come very close to beating 4, but and I've never played it with X. I've only done the 0 playthrough, but I have always just had a really hard time getting past that final Sigma fight on X4. But yeah, I need to go back to that sometime, and I do have X5 on the PlayStation, but I don't know, I just went ahead and grabbed this one because it was, I don't know, more convenient, I guess. But yeah, Mega Man's another great one, just lots of great, fun gameplay, great action, cool story, cool characters. Zero, probably one of my favorite video game characters of all time. So yeah, Mega Man, that is also good shit. I'd love to see another Mega Man X game, but I don't know if we're ever going to get that. I'd say probably not at this point. It doesn't seem very likely. But, and Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear Solid, my introduction to this was my mom's boyfriend at the time that we were living with. He got this for the PlayStation, and I remember just watching him play it and just being really, even at the age I was, very fascinated by it. And eventually, when I started hanging out with Chris, I noticed that him and his older brother, now my brother as well, Danny, they were playing that game, and I was like, wow, I remember my mom's boyfriend playing this around me all the time as a kid. And then eventually I decided to get into it, and I actually managed to beat the original Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation at a pretty young age. But now when I go back to it, I can't fucking play that game for shit. I absolutely suck at it now. But like 2 and 3 and so on, these are the ones that I would say I'm pretty decent at. Like, I can play through these pretty well. And Metal Gear Solid 2 is probably my favorite out of the series, although I love the remake of the original Metal Gear Solid, the Twin Snakes on the GameCube. That is fucking great because it's still got the same great story and everything, except it's just got those gameplay elements that made Metal Gear Solid 2 so great. And I think it is superior to the original first one, in terms of gameplay, anyway, for me. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid is another one, great one, just an unforgettable, amazing protagonist, Snake, and of course, Raiden is pretty cool as well. It definitely took me a little while to get into him, but yeah, I like Raiden quite a bit too. Just, there's, once again, another franchise that has tons of great, memorable characters and a very, very good storyline. I still have not played MGS5. The thing that's kind of holding me back from that is they did the whole open world thing, and Metal Gear Solid is just something that I prefer to be a little more of that linear approach like this, and 3 and even 4 did, even though 4 is nowhere near as good as this or the original or 3. But, yeah. Is there anything else I can think of to add? No, I think that's about it. I mean, yeah. Most of you guys know what this shit is, but, you know, chances are if you guys are gamers, you've played all this shit. And, yeah, we're only 10 minutes in, but I think that's a pretty good little introduction to me being a gamer, what I'm into. I also really, you know, going back to being a horror fan, I do enjoy horror games, but it's really difficult for me to find ones that I like these days because it seems there's so many that I find that they have a really cool story and they're, you know, very well done with the horror elements and everything, but they're not very fun to play, a lot of them that I find today. And, like, you know, like the old Resident Evils, for example, or pretty much most of their survival horror stuff, that stuff is just way too fucking difficult for my taste, where, like, resources are extremely scarce and everything, but I understand that that's kind of what makes survival horror. But, I prefer horror games that are a little more fun on the combat side and not so fucking just balls to the wall difficult. But, like, you know, I love Left 4 Dead 2. That's probably one of my favorite multiplayer games to play with friends. I'm a big fan of that. I love Killing Floor. Once again, that's great co-op survival horror that is definitely challenging, especially once you get up to for anyone who's played Killing Floor, you know, once you get into the bigger waves towards the end of the round, it gets pretty fucking crazy. But, yeah, Left 4 Dead 2 and Killing Floor, when I think of horror games that I really enjoy and that are fun to play, those are definitely two that always come to mind. Alien Isolation I actually thought was also really well done, but I never got too far into that. Me and a buddy were playing that for a little while and we just kind of stopped. So I'll have to get back into Alien Isolation at some point, but that was pretty cool too. And that's a great franchise as well, the Alien movies. I like those a lot as well. But I'm just kind of rambling now. So yeah, I feel like that's a good little introduction to me getting into gaming. And yeah, it's one of my favorite hobbies, along with music, along with watching movies, along with anime. That's another big hobby of mine. I've got a lot, you know, just a big fucking nerd. But yeah. Feel free to leave any comments, what your favorite video game franchises are, what got you into it, what your favorite genres are. Do you like 2D platforming? Do you like RPGs? Obviously, you know, since I mentioned Disgaea, I love tactical RPGs, and 2D platformers are also some of my favorites. But yeah, feel free to leave me in the comments what you enjoy, and yeah, I hope this video, hope you had fun watching it, and hopefully watching it, you were like, oh yeah, that guy likes a lot of the same shit I do. So, yeah. I think I'm going to go ahead and end it. But, yeah. Expect some more videos on the video game topic to come on this channel very soon. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching. And I will see you guys on the next video. Take it easy.